All right, let's begin. So we'll start by entering into our hands. So it's not just sensing with our hands, but sensing our hands. And feel the hands relax, connecting to breath. And we'll start to expand each and every breath. You can feel expansion by using the rib cage. It's actually a wonderful landmark in the body. For feeling expansion and then that receding, moving back towards center and down motion. So take a few breaths to feel expansion. And the motion that follows expansion. And then there's a little skill of noticing what you notice. Do you tend to prefer sensing in some direction? Do you tend to feel the expansion occurring in one place of your rib cage before another? Do you sense expansion in the back side of the ribs as readily as you do in the sides or the front? These ways that our attention goes in and throughout our body does create some patterns. And so there's a great skill, of course, in seeing patterns, especially within ourselves. We'll place the soles of feet together, and we will use a hand position to create a chest opening move. Usually, we just prop up on our fingertips to get that little extra vertical and then push. So that might do it for you. You might also set up blocks if your fingers or your wrist joints or some such are achy. Okay. With the blocks, I can kind of put the, what do you call that? The thumb index, that little webbing, the webbing into the blocks and get pretty good chest lift. All right, so maintaining this chest lift, we're going to work our pranayama as 10 in, 10 out. So pressing soles of feet together, let's start by emptying the breath and by pressing a bit with the hands. And those may feel contradictory. Okay. So we'll begin, I'll let you count you. 10 count in, 10 count out. As we're biasing the front side of the body, we can explore how we sense breath in the uppermost of the lung and under the breast and under the chest. We can get a sense of breath as it reaches, moves the lymph nodes around the armpit and the neck. If you attune to the lungs and the heart, you can start to feel how the heart is nested, almost like a ball in the socket of the lungs. You can start to feel the secretions and the lubrication of the heart within the heart, the lungs within the lungs, the heart and the lungs within the interior of the ribs. You can start to attune to the slidingness, that kind of slippery or fluidic relating quality. We'll finish the round that we're on. We'll do one more. Again, we're working 10 in or 10 out, or a 1-to-1 ratio with a pretty major front of chest bias. As we finish that up, we'll take our left hand to our left thigh for an unlocking the hip move. The unlocking, the hand pressure is very light. The feet are still active. So now, connecting breath from heart into the left hip. So I'm still using my right hand to telescope my chest and my ribs up, away from the hip. I'm feeling breath spreading down, down, down into the hip. So keeping that chest open, the heart accessible as we contact the hips. So we're not bringing our chest and our weight in our body down in order to feel the lower area of the torso. The chest still lifts even as I'm accessing the deepest, innermost part of hip. And we'll release. We'll trade sides. Right hand to right thigh. The left hand presses and feel that uplift, the chest lifting away from the pelvis. even though the biological tendency is for things to kind of draw downward as we exhale, I'm asking us, can we feel kind of a drawing up, a lifting up, a lengthening through the waist and the lower internal organs? Final breath round here. All right. Use your hands, help your knees, your legs together, and we'll set up Dolphin. So now, addressing, biasing, and sensing the back side of the heart. So let's set up elbows under shoulders, knees under hips. And as we're getting set up, it's really great to see you all this morning. I love it. I love you. Inhale into the sides of ribs, the back of heart. And with the toes curled under, exhale, press the knees off the ground, softening through the base of the neck and the base of the skull. So we were kind of gently suggesting the chest moving toward the sky. So now feel the tail lifting, moving, lifting away from the skull. When we play with these kind of ascension and expansion types of movement, what do we notice? Maybe we feel where our tendency is to crowd or collapse or condense. Maybe we tend to feel overexpanded. Like you may have an injury that actually requires a very fine degree of knitting or condensing to keep protected. So that might be a skill you access. Especially as those elbows maintain that width, that shoulder width that we set them, we can press through the forearms and out the fingertips. In fact, stretch out those fingertips. You can still press them down, but open up that palm, open up all those digit joints as you press. So it's lengthening the fingers, the digits, the joints as you press. So opening doesn't have to disengage the fingers from the floor. Opening, lengthening, pressing. I'll probably get a lot moving through those wrists and those hands. And if you need a little extra sustaining help, you can always step the feet just a little bit wider. That can be a nice variation you employ from time to time. And gently set the knees down. Inhaling, slide the hands under the shoulders. Exhaling, open up the hands, open up the webbing, reaching out through the fingertips. Exhale, downward dog. And if you're able, straighten the elbows, not locking them, but straightening them, engaging the arm muscles. Lengthening out through the arms, lengthening out through the palms and the fingertips. This may not be the easiest move to do because our tendency may be to kind of use our fingertips and kind of grasp into the mat and get those little extra bits of torsion and kind of twisting and rotation. And we can, but just play first with opening up, straightening, lengthening, reaching through the arms, through the elbows, through the wrists, through the fingertips. And then you can let those fingertips kind of sink in and help you with all sorts of rotation and pressure points. Inhaling, step any foot forward. We're coming into a wide stance, a wide neutral stance, a wide-legged stance. So we're working, twisting horse stance. And we're also doing some rounds of Agnisara, so they'll be interspersed. Let's start with a round of Agnisara. So I've got my hands on thighs and sitting on my horse. Inhale into the abdomen. As I'm inhaling into the abdomen, the chest is lifting, right? We can feel if the chest is accessible and habitable, or if we're kind of compressing it down at the pelvis. And then we'll exhale everything out. Remain empty. Draw the belly in. Let the belly go. Draw the belly in. Let the belly go. Draw the belly in. Let the belly go. If you got another, do another. Belly in. Letting it go. Calmly breathe. And take a breath or two. Okay. Now, twisting, inhaling. So keeping that chest free and able to move independently of the pelvis. Exhale, press that left hand into the left thigh, turning. So now the chest turns or faces right. It's okay if the left shoulder shrugs up a bit. Again, notice any little inflection points of losing contact with the heart. I'm getting the sense that there can be a subtle or a frequent compressing of the heart when we're aiming to contact a lower area of the body like the pelvis or the abdomen. All right, inhale, come back centrally. And then swiftly exhale everything out for another round of Agnisara. Remain empty. Draw the belly in. Release, draw the belly in. Release, draw it in. Release, draw it in. Release, draw it in. Release, inhaling. Of course, you can always be giving your hands these little moments of relief. Now exhale, press the right hand against the right thigh. So your chest twists to the left. So I'm not letting my hand just bend back. I'm actually creating little arches of support. So the webbing of each hand, the thumb index webbing, there's a muscularity there. There's a kind of plumping that drumstick muscle, the thumb, that little thumb drumstick muscle, right? So creating a muscled arch in the hand. And that's how we work and protect and preserve the wrists. So don't just like dampen and slam that wrist down. It's not a door hinge. If you find your wrists hurting, start to inquire, how do I create arches through my hand? There's lots of arch possibilities. Inhaling, come back centrally. And once more, exhale everything out for a final round of Agnisara. Remain empty, drawing the belly in and releasing as many times as it's interesting to you. And when you are ready to release, let's relax the belly, help yourself up. So I want to show you a chest opening, and it's on the wall. So let me show you the profile first. If you don't have a wall readily accessible, you can do the version that we often do, which is interlacing hands behind back and reaching the knuckles down. Okay. So that's the basis of it. To go to the wall, if you can see, I'm bending my elbows a little bit. Okay. Now I put those forearms against a wall. Now you decide how much you will step toward or away from the wall. I'm leaning into my forearms, and I am pushing with my forearms backward into the wall. This will create a very different sensation than simply sending the knuckles down. This is more like a Matsyasana, like a fish pose back bend. Okay. So again, I'll just talk through it all again. A interlace, elbows bend, forearms to wall, and now you have to decide where to put the feet. I like to put mine forward of my hips. I'm standing maybe 10 or 12 inches from the wall. It's like 20, 25 centimeters. Now press with the forearms. Inhaling really richly into the heart, under the sternum, into the collar. We get into the collar, we're getting into lymph nodes and the carotid. And when you release, you're just kind of relaxing your butt down and pressing away from the wall. We'll come back to our mat and stand at the top. So I hope you get some benefit from this. And that pressing back is a very active version of some Qigong moves, right? Inhale, draw the arms up. Exhale, fold, allowing the back of the heart to soften, the back of the neck to soften. Inhaling, step left foot back, lunge. We'll remain in lunge a couple breaths. So you can practice that, feeling the chest lifting away from the pelvis. I'm going to move into twisting lunge, backing up the weight a smidge. Exhaling, left elbow over right thigh. Left hand makes a fist, right hand presses against it. You have the option of leaving left knee down or pressing left knee up. Your pleasure. Twisting lunge or twisting warrior. And now twisting extended lunge or twisting extended warrior. Moving on exhale, lower our left armpit right down atop the thigh. Left hand fingertips move down to the ground. Block can be used. The right arm reach overhead. Again, this can be done knee down or knee up, your pleasure. And inhaling, unwind. Bring the hands down to the top of the mat. Exhale, chaturanga. We'll step back, lowering. We'll lower all the way down so that abdomen can be on the ground. We'll take 1 or 2 deep breaths into the abdomen so you can feel how breath spreads and refracts through the back and the low ribs. And into the solar plexus area. As you start to image the diaphragm, you may start to feel the diaphragm. All right, setting the hands up for cobra, inhale. Feeling that lift of chest from pubic bone. Exhaling, lower, reset the hands for downward dog. Exhale, we'll press back. All right, lunge, inhale, left foot forward. We're setting the right knee down. We're giving each of these poses at least a few breaths. And today we're really just emphasizing in a number of ways this chest opening, which kind of is foundational to our back bends. So you can feel the bias of the chest, the front of the ribs. And you feel that expansion or that spaciousness between the chest and the pelvis. And use those arms. Those arms are incredible space finders, if you will. As I reach the arms, I can get a sense of the chest lifting, moving. Twisting lunge, exhaling, we'll back it up a bit. Right elbow over left thigh. And for the remainder of these moves, you can keep the knee down, the right knee down, or you can press the knee up. Right, twisting extended lunge or twisting extended warrior. And slink this right armpit down to the thigh, right hand to the ground. Left arm reaches overhead. Reach with that right arm. Reach so the right shoulder doesn't just get smashed into the collarbone, like the collar and the humerus don't just smash into the neck. Reach with that right arm. Reach. It's almost a reaching and a pulling, or reaching and a pressing action. So that your right arm reach, yes, your right arm reach, uncrowds your shoulder, uncrowds your neck. Yeah, so we're rarely just hanging out on a joint or laying into our shoulder joint. And release, inhaling, unwind. Exhaling, chaturanga. When we step back, we lower belly to earth. Now, we'll interlace hands behind the back. If you have some back situation going, remember you could always place an object between your ankles. Sometimes that really helps helps back things. All right, hands interlaced behind back. Apply squeeze or get inner legs active. Inhale. Lift the chest forward. Exhale, stretch the legs back. Take several breaths here. Unhurried, deep, luxurious breaths here. And release. Inhaling, hands under chest. Exhaling, downward dog. Now, as we move into downward dog, let it be known, we are moving into turbo dog. I'm creating a little variation for myself. by putting both of my hands up on blocks. Why? It transfers more weight into my legs, creates some much needed variation, and then we can rotate those arms as we reach, bending elbows toward the earth underneath the shoulders. The nice thing about the block is I can get a little fingertip around that outer edge of the block, and it actually gives me some ability to squeeze in. Even if it's just a quarter of my fingertip, I can feel that inward squeeze, and it's significant enough of a difference that I like it a lot. There you go. Good, I'm glad some of you got some double block, your double block system. So you're doing so much with the chest. Breathe into the back of the heart, the shoulder blades. Feel those armpit muscles contracting, engaging. All right, warrior 2, inhale, right foot forward. Strap, if you need it for archer, and we'll just let it hang out beside us. Inhale, reaching arms out to side, turn palms up, kite wing first, kite hawks first. Exhale, turning the biceps down. You could tip the chin down, just managing your balance. Inhale, biceps up. Eyes on the horizon, chest lifts. Pressing out through those legs. Exhale, biceps down, chin down. Press out through the thigh bones. We'll do 2 more. Involve your legs by pressing those leg bones out like almost like you're doing an unlocking the leg, unlocking the hip move as you're feeling if these shoulders are secreting and lubricating. All right. For archer, left elbow up, right elbow down. That elbow, that left elbow, feel the rotation of the arm, the ball in the socket, that brings the bicep nearer to your hairline. Okay. Involve the legs, press out, lengthening those leg muscles, engaging, lengthening the left quad. I'm almost using the left leg to push me more deeply into the right foot. Let the breaths that contact the heart also reach the hip. And release hands. Inhale, let the arms go, let them kind of unwind. Okay. We're setting up for reverse warrior. Inhale, reach arms out to the side. Exhale, left hand to left leg, right arm reaches. Couple different options. You can make your right palm face the sky and push the sky up, or you can reach your fingertips for the wall near the back of your mat. So just slightly different hand. And I can say it again. One way is the usual way. The non-usual way is I can make my palm face the sky and then press the clouds. And inhaling, come upright, straighten the right leg, triangle, adjust stance. Exhale, reach and lengthen forward through the right arm, through the right side ribs. And then we set that hand down. Your blocks might still be there. You can use them. And inhaling, bringing hands to ground. I've got my blocks here. I will use them. You don't have to. Exhale, step back, downward dog. We'll entertain another round of turbo dog. So as you're rolling, rotating the arm bones, the ball of the shoulder inside the socket, which is the shoulder blade. The shoulder blade has the socket. The elbows bend, and they're underneath, directly underneath the shoulder. And using that shape to almost draw those entanglements of the upper trapezius, the upper rhomboids, to kind of draw, spread those entanglements away from the spine. What helps is breathing into the deepest upper reaches of ribs and spine. So the very upper thoracic. Inhale your left foot forward, warrior two. Bring a strap along if you like it for archer. Inhale the arms out to the side, turning the biceps up. Exhale, turn the biceps down. We'll do a few more breath rounds. Inhaling is the up move, biasing the front, the chest of the body, right? And then exhaling will bias the back of the body. So if you're following the sensations of these poses, note your attention keeps moving and toggling front to back, to front to back, to front to back. As we make hundreds or thousands of these pathways, front to back to front to back to front, gradually it's almost like we start to fill in this whole front and back side with a quality of our awareness. Involve the legs. Right. When we move into archer, the right elbow points up. And when we get into archer, there is a little bit of a bias through the front side. So lifting the chest is extending and lifting the mid and the upper back. Feel. Inhaling, lifting the upper back away from the mid back. That's how we get these ranges of shoulder. Involve the legs, keeping that pelvis fluid or open instead of locked or jammed or condensed into closure. I release strap. We'll keep the warrior stance. Let those arms go. Just relax them down. Inhale, reach them out to the side, reverse warrior. We can do it the usual way, or you can take your left palm and turn it so it faces the sky and kind of press the sky up. So my thumb is pointing toward you. If it bothers your shoulder, just change the rotation of your arm. But turning that palm up can get into some deep armpit shoulder blade areas. So it becomes a little bit like that lunge that we do. We're kind of draping and arching the ribs, getting into the armpit. And inhale, left arm come up, torso come up, triangle, straighten left leg. Scooch your foot distance in. Exhale, reach through left hand, reach through left side trunk. And we'll set that left hand down. Involve those legs. You're pressing out through those legs. You may feel that quite deeply in that inner left thigh. Nothing needs to go into a painful range. So you may need to prop a couple blocks up until we start to distinguish and find out how to relax around the anus and around the sacrum and to kind of crease into that left hip and to feel those inner leg groin muscles working and lengthening and pressing. And inhale, bring hands down around the left foot. Exhaling, we'll step back, downward dog. Just plain old downward dog. All right, inhale, step the right foot forward. Let's pad our left knee. We're going to do one more chest opening move where we grab the left foot with both hands. So this is my left foot. Grab it with both hands. Now, if this balance is kind of tricky for you, there's a really nice, kind of more stable alternate where you can put your toes kind of up on a surface. And so it's kind of like a kickstand, and then you can clasp the hands so you're working both the lunge and the chest opener. Okay. I think the key to this move is to allow the shoulders, the arm bones, to drift back, to feel the chest melting forward, melting up, forward, upward. The freedom through the shoulders and the heart allows us to lift up. There's many condensing or densifying behaviors that seem to draw us into gravity, into the ground. So we're playing with that contrapuntal movement, that kind of anti-sync movement today. And release. Inhale, we'll go hands down. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Here we go, that lunge on the other side. Inhale, left foot forward, pad the right knee. Grasp the right foot with both hands. Can I select a posture, a positioning that allows me to discover my breath in my whole body? How do I position this body so that I experience breath in the heart, in the abdomen, in the pelvis, in the shoulders, in the brain? That's it. Nice. Good. Nice. I hope those are wonderfully deep, life-discovering breaths. And release. Inhale, we'll set hands down. We'll do one final vinyasa. Exhale, left foot back, lowering. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Bend knees in your downward dog so the thighs get very close to your abdomen, your ribs. And reaching the sit bones back. And then very gently we'll set the knees down So we're in kind of an embryo. And allow those breaths to be felt in the backside and those low ribs that may be touching your thighs. We're in an embryo. I'm kind of active. I'm still reaching my arms out, just my preference. And then release from embryo for Shavasana. So please, we'll make our way to back or whatever is a restful position. We can take stock. And so in this rest, sometimes I use the imagining of a sand timer, the image of a sand timer, to feel the particulate body settling toward the earth, down and down, feeling the weight of the heels almost like just sand, just being drawn through that bottleneck and into the earth. And the buttock, it's like a sand timer, just particulate, gravity, descent. So we're feeling the motion of descent. Feel if the motion of descent takes you to the back of your body, takes you underneath your body, or does it take you into the ground beneath your body? So keep tracking that motion of descent down. Are there areas of your body that resist descent? Let's give ourselves 8 more breaths to feel this descent. Get interested in those areas that resist descent. And I give us that boundary of 8 breaths because we might be more willing to release if we know that we have an end point by which we can begin our movement to seated. Just noticing if you're anticipating getting to 8 breaths or anticipating changing out of that descent motion. It's my belief and my experience that this is strongly correlated with the ability to move into sleep. When you have felt those 8 breaths of descent, we will conclude simply by bending knees. Turning and pressing out. Namaste.